Welcome back to Pop It. Pop It? Okay, how many of these am I going to fuck up? Welcome back to another episode of Pocket Pep Talks. I'm trying to work on my perfectionism, so I'm going to leave that blooper in. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why I left Instagram, okay? And give you a bit of insight into, I guess, what justifies it and how this insight might help you in some area of your life. So, I didn't leave Instagram because I was over it or because I needed a social media detox, because I do that kind of regularly anyway. I left because there was no reward anymore. And our brains are wired for rewards. So if a behaviour doesn't give you something positive, either right away or down the line, like a delayed response, then your brain literally sees absolutely no point in repeating it. And that's exactly what happened with Instagram. I started Instagram, I don't know how long it was ago, a long time ago. And initially, it was never meant to be for business. I was just posting things. I think I was getting into running at the time. It was like 2012. I can't really remember. Obviously, over the years, it developed into a business. So when you look at Instagram, for me, it didn't start off as a business, but it turned into a business. So that's fine. So obviously with a business, you need to be making money. So that would be a financial reward. Then because it's social media, it's supposed to be social. So interacting with people, messaging people, people commenting on your posts, you commenting on other people's posts. And then we can look at growth, okay? Growth is a big one for me here. I love my content. I love my reels. I think they're really inspiring, motivating. I just really loved posting on my feed, whether that was reels or carousels or whatever it was. And no matter how much I was posting, I wasn't growing. I was getting constantly shadow banned. I was constantly getting cancelled. And so you can see if there is no reward in any way, whether that is financial, social, growth wise, whatever it is, then it's going to be very hard to keep going with that behavior because it's going to feel like a chore because you're putting so much energy and effort into something and getting zero reward. So I'm going to actually explain the neuroscience behind this. I think it'll be so helpful for you to understand about, I guess, the reward system in your brain and how that might play into behavior change, or if you're trying to let go of one habit or take up a new behavior or habit, whatever it is. So our brains are wired for rewards. So if a behavior doesn't give you something positive, either right away or down the line in a delayed response, then your brain literally sees no point in repeating it. So when we repeat an action, our brain strengthens the things in your brain called neural pathways, making it easier and more automatic over time. So think about driving, okay? At the start, it's so hard. You're trying to remember the route or the direction, and then after a while, you can drive without even thinking about it. You can drive from A to B without even thinking twice about it, okay? Because it becomes so automatic. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So, the part of your brain that handles habit formation loves efficiency. So the more that you do something, the easier it becomes. We then have your dopamine system. This one is in charge of those rewards. So you do something, you get a little hint of dopamine, and straight away your brain says, oh, let's do that again. Then you have your prefrontal cortex, okay? So that's where all the logic, the planning, the decision making happens. But it burns out really fast. So that's why relying on willpower alone never works long term. So here's where Instagram failed me in all of those areas. So at first, I'm posting, engaging, and building a community that felt rewarding. I was getting that dopamine hit, but over time, that reward faded in all areas: financial, social, growth wise, etc. That means I wasn't feeling fulfilled. The return, so the energy return, didn't match the effort, and my brain has clocked that. So without any real intrinsic or extrinsic reward, without any reward instantly or a delayed response, so down the line, like constantly posting and posting with the hope of growth or whatever it is, if I'm not getting instant or delayed reward, then my brain goes, why are we even doing this? And that's why I stopped. So, why does this matter for you? This isn't about Instagram. This is about why you're struggling to stick to certain habits, whether it's sticking to a gym routine, whether it's eating better, whether it's staying consistent with something new. If there is no reward, there will be no consistency. So, how are you going to make a habit stick? Here's the formula that actually works. So, you need to habit stack, okay? Attach a new habit to something that you already do, like practicing deep breathing while you're waiting for the kettle to boil. Make it enjoyable. If the habit feels like a chore, it won't last. So, try to find a way to make it fun or at least tolerable. You can also try something called identity based change. So, instead of saying, I'm trying to eat healthier, you can say something like, I'm the type of person who nourishes my body. And sometimes a little identity shift like that can really help with behaviour change. Then there is the Goldilocks rule. So make it just hard enough to be challenging, but not so overwhelming that you quit after 2 days, okay? That's if you want to take on a new behaviour. But what if you're trying to break a bad habit or behaviour? So, what you need to do here is you can't just quit. Now, sometimes this does work for people. They go off the fags or the drink straight away cold turkey, and it does work. Most of the time, just quitting won't work. You need to replace the habit because your brain doesn't like a void. So, if you stop doing something completely cold turkey that's been a coping mechanism, for example, emotional eating or doom scrolling or whatever it is, you have to replace it with something equally rewarding. Now, rewarding can also mean cheap dopamine hits too, okay? So, rewarding doesn't have to be positive, healthy things. And that's where doom scrolling and those things come in. It's rewarding in some way to your brain, even if it's unhealthy. So, you have to replace that behavior with something equally rewarding. Then there's something called rewire triggers. So, if stress triggers your bad habit, replace that moment with a different response, like leaving the apartment straight away and going for a 10-minute walk, or just doing some deep breathing. So, by replacing bad habit that you had there before with a different habit, that can help rewire your brain in changing that behavior. The next thing you can try is delaying the urge, okay? So you tell yourself, I can do this thing, but I'll wait 10 minutes until I do it. And sometimes that delay weakens the impulse to do the thing over time. So those are all methods that you can use if you want to either take on a new habit or break a bad one. But the trick is in that reward. So when I left Instagram, I wasn't just quitting. I haven't quit full time, but I was recognizing that my brain wasn't getting the reward needed to justify the amount of energy and effort I was putting in. So that's the same thing you need to look at when you're struggling with any habit or behavior. If there is no reward, it's not going to stick. But if you find a way to make it feel good or attach it to something meaningful, that's when the magic happens. So for me, doing these 5 to 10 minute pocket pep talks are so rewarding for me because I know they're quick and I don't have any expectations with growth or anything like that. I just enjoy doing them. So I've kind of replaced my, I guess, scrolling on Instagram or even the amount of time I would spend on Instagram with recording these things that just don't even take up half as much time. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I'd love to hear about what episodes you're enjoying, what you'd like to hear more of, because I really just love doing them and they don't take me long. I can have my bullet points in front of me. I have the podcast studio here where I'm living, and yeah, I just really get that reward out of it, which is why I keep doing them. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode.